people are literally being told, hey, you're going to get a free ride. We're going to take care of you. We're going to give you money. We're going to give you these incentives to come here to the United States. And a lot of the people here are predominantly coming not to give, but to take.
There's one thing that did concern me regarding to what he said on that Joe Rogan Experience show, and that's when he was talking about national ID and like the digital ID system. Like, doesn't that kind of sound alarm bells to anybody?
What,
Who
what,
said
what
that?
did he say exactly?
I don't know. It's on the show, but basically it's kind of to be against like election fraud or to help with securing the border. But I'm not sure. Like, to me, that's kind of like 1984 vibes.
Mm-hmm. The real ID thing, I think they've been working on for a while. I'm not super familiar with it, but I know that when you go to the airport, they're like, you need real ID, but they keep pushing the year back. 2020, I think it's next year you have to have it.
I'm just concerned that like we need to keep everybody accountable. Like, we need to make sure that like people aren't going to overstep or overreach. And I know that you can't, like, even as president, there are already steps in place, but I feel like we should definitely not just be like, I love you, you're the savior. Like, we need to really kind of watch and just be like, okay, like, you're going to be a good choice right now, but then there's also like certain things that I don't agree with. Like, I kind of outlined a few things that for me struck me as kind of odd. I was like, wait a minute, red flag here, red flag there. Like, there's certain things that I don't really agree with in terms of like the burning of the flag. Like, that was one thing that I was like, what? Okay, like, you burn the flag, you go to jail for a year. Like, I don't know. Like, is that really like, is that like cool? Like, I don't know.
I wonder how much of that is like Trump actually thinks things through versus him just like, I think he says a lot of stuff that
he won't implement.
Yeah, like shows up. He seems like one of these guys that like blurts out things, and it's
could be, but I mean, he's doing it at the rally. He's at the Madison Square rally. He's saying that that's what's going to happen. It's like new, and it's like right now. I'm like, whoa, like, why can't you just keep to like the things that you already said? Why are you saying all these crazy, like, outrageous things now?
Yeah, I agree. No, listen, I if I was Trump's advisor, I'd be like, listen, man.
The first one that got me was like the whole the death penalty for any immigrant that were to kill an American on U.S. soil. Like, violence begets violence. Like, why? Like, okay, you murder someone, I'm going to murder you. Like, I don't know. Is that really like the right kind of energetic exchange that we want to be promoting?
Clearly not.
Send them to heaven quicker.
I don't know. So you agree with that?
They got to be gone to forgive them.
I mean, you have to draw the line somewhere. It's not that I think it's be a case by case basis. I mean, if someone killed your family right now, you would just be like, okay, cool, go 20 years in jail. Like, how is that even solving the problem? I mean, you're coming here, you want to vet people coming here, you want to get the best people coming here. If someone's going to come here and take away someone's whole livelihood and all of we've lost loved ones before.
The entire country is made up of immigrants, pretty much, unless you're. So I mean, like. You lose me a little on that one. Like, yeah, like maybe we need some vetting, but remember we had Ellis Island and we didn't have these issues. Like, I have a hard time as libertarian leading our anarchists.
What do you think should be done? And so if I kill your family, what should be done then?
Well, but that's a whole different thing. Are you saying that immigrants who come across the border are guilty of killing families?
There's legal immigrants, like we're legal. There's also
let me
illegal.
finish that point. The problem is, as libertarians, we're saying that the government is the best person to vet people coming in versus a community of people.
I never said I wanted the government to vet.
But who else is vetting them?
The Ellis Island.
That's a whole other discussion. I mean,
well, that's my point.
But the way it's set up right now,
itself,
that's the government. But I would like to change that. But I'm not in charge.
Okay,
Connor, you had a comment about Ellis Island?
The Ellis Island people were showing up looking at a country ready to be built.
Right.
Not coming to a, first world, top of the line.
Do we think we're at the top?
Smartphone right when you enter the border,
Right.
Free hotel, free airplane tickets, free bus rides.
Right, so all of that is welfare.
They're walking into a daycare. The men at Ellis Island fell over dead in coal chambers.
And they built the infrastructure, and they built the bridges, and they built the roads. And they built the West as well.
Everyone at the south
with
border
the Chinese
is looking for a handout. Prove me wrong.
Right. So what you're saying is you have an issue with welfare. not an issue with immigration. Because if you cut out welfare, how many of those people are going to still be coming here looking for handouts?
Well,
but you guys got to understand, Trump's kind of policies are a direct response to the left. He's saying you'll go to jail for burning the flag because people are being arrested and charged for huge sentences because they had their car that went over a pride street, right? So that's a direct correlation to that. I don't agree with any kind of strict government sentence on these larger kind of symbolic gestures. But especially when it comes to private property. But when we look at Trump's actions here, he's directly responding to a lot of the abuses that do happen in sanctuary cities, liberal cities, democratic cities, where a lot of people who are immigrants are taking advantage of the situation, are taking advantage of the taxpayer, and are going to be future Democratic voters that are going to make this country liberal forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I think we generally agree. The issue, I want to, as immigrant, daughter of immigrants, it's not the immigrant that is the problem. It is the government solution, which is to give welfare to people crossing the border, to rob from Americans who work, to give to people who just showed up. So, I agree, there has to be a better way. I think we all pretty much agree on that. The problem is, it's not necessarily the immigrant; it is the welfare. It's the thing that is drawing people here. So some people are coming here because they have nefarious, they want to hurt potentially America. We see a lot of young males who are military age crossing the border. I think that those are probably nefarious for the large part. But then you have people that want to come here for better opportunities. And it's really attractive to be like, oh, and by the way, if you cross the border, you're going to get a hotel, a cell phone, your kids are going to get an education, you're going to get food stamps, you're going to get all these things. So, it's just clarifying.
But that's the issue. I think we need a whole new system. Now, this current system we have, I have friends from all over the world like, Robbie, I can't get in. And I just can't get my visa. And then I'm like, just go jump the border. I'm saying you're not doing any vetting for the people who are just crossing illegally. We're doing vetting for the people who are trying to come here legally. So I don't think that's fair because I want as many good people to come here as possible. I love immigrants. And I think this country was built on that. But you can't just have give a priority to someone that's just going to jump illegally, and then the people that are really trying to come here who are going to contribute, who want to do the right things, they can't come. There's something not adding up with the current way it's set up right now. It does
Again, it's run by government. Have you ever walked into a DMV? Have you ever walked into any government office? Give government anything, and they'll find a way to screw it up. I mean, it's just.
So what's your solution then?
My solution is get government out of the business of being the one to choose. Why don't you allow the communities?
We should set up I agree. Let's set up.
If there's no welfare, I think that argument is valid. But with the welfare system, with the way it is now, it just can't work.
Sold. Yeah. Let's go. Let's end welfare.
But that should be the first. But that should be the first thing before even getting into that issue. That should be the first thing at hand, and then let the chips fall where they may. Because then there wouldn't be a larger incentive for people to come here because people are literally being told, hey, you're going to get a free ride. We're going to take care of you. We're going to give you money. We're going to give you these incentives to come here to the United States. And a lot of the people here are predominantly coming not to give, but to take. We got new videos from the Associated Press that just came out a few days ago showing the latest kind of caravan of people moving through, of course, Mexico into the United States, as a lot of people expect Donald Trump to become president of the United States. And then when he does, there's going to be, of course, a closing of the border. I do believe if Donald Trump wins and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are still in power after November 5th, I think what they're going to do to secure their kind of larger domination of this political system, I think they're going to open the borders again. They're going to be like, Trump's coming in, let's open up the borders, let's make this more of a chaotic, crazy system. And I think this is why we're seeing the caravans already start up, because if Trump wins, I think that we're going to see a mad dash at the border afterwards.
Absolutely.
They have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
At that point, if Trump's going to win and change the current policy, I think at that point, how are they going to get new votes?
Yeah, there's a crazy video from a former chief border agent that came out and actually was whistleblowing at what was happening inside of the Biden administration. I'm going to play this clip here for you guys because I think it's absolutely very eye-opening to see what's really happening behind the scenes.
Ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, in San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. Fentanyl is another issue. The San Diego area sees between 80 and 90% of the methamphetamine and fentanyl seizures annually for our entire country. With little enforcement at the border, these drugs were coming through en masse. During my last year in San Diego, the price for a single pill of fentanyl, for example, went from $10 to 25 cents.
He asked.
To make matters worse, during 2022 and 23, I had to shut down San Diego traffic checkpoints, which are critical for drug interdiction, because the resources had been diverted to the process and release mission. The large numbers also had and still have a negative impact on the San Diego community. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas. Each flight cost approximately $150,000. This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. That's absolutely insane that we have whistleblowers, the former chief of Border Patrol, coming out and speaking about this larger disaster and, most importantly, this larger cover-up effort, especially when it came to their terror encounters and encounters with criminals that they had on the specific border that we know about. Now imagine all the ones that we have no idea about. So it really does kind of make you wonder what's really happening behind the scenes here, as a lot of small towns all around the United States are being rocked by all these new people coming in and the government kind of giving over all of their resources to them.
Are they, when they're going to Texas, how long after this that they're spending time in Texas do you think they're allowed to vote?
Well, first they attended South by Southwest. Then they're going to do a couple, I don't know. But
I mean, they supposedly have to become legal citizens and get that right to vote. But I mean, I don't know, because we don't need IDs to vote. So
Exactly.
How many are voting? I don't know. All of them? Some of them? I don't know. How would we know?
I've got a friend over here in Palm Beach County whose mom votes multiple times in his name and their family's name for the left. It's so easy to do, you wouldn't believe it.
I'm not surprised. Listen, people who have passed away somehow managed to vote as well. So I'm not surprised. Are you? Like, seriously?
I've gotten 3 ballots to my house in California. I'm just wondering, are they trying, is there a mastermind? Am I just thinking conspiracy minded? Are they trying to turn Texas blue? Went through my head.
Yes, all of the above. Yes.
Yeah, James O'Keefe is coming out with a new documentary, and he kind of described how he literally sent random people who just went to a lot of these kind of immigration centers, and they said, "Oh, I don't have any ID," and like, "Yeah, totally cool. We'll give you a hotel, no worries. Where do you want to fly anywhere? Do you have any family members around the country? We'll give you a free ticket right now." And he was like, "I don't need ID." They're like, "Yeah, you don't need ID. It's cool, totally fine." So I think that's a lapse in the security system, because last time I remembered, you go through the TSA, you got to show your identification, and
But not for them.
Yeah, and very sadly, you know, you go to vote. Many places you don't even need to show your identification either, which I think is kind of a
Not
problem.
here in Florida.
But let's just say you're one of these terrorists. Let's say you're a hobbyist, a jihadi from the Middle East that previously got a lot of CIA funding. Walk in through the border, go into one of these places. I don't need ID. You're on a terror watch list. Doesn't matter. Free airplane ticket. Come on in, bub. That to me really does show a lot of how this whole entire national security system is just a big old show. It doesn't matter.
I appreciate O'Keefe doing that, because it seems like they're on their last straw here. They're planning this out they know if everyone knew, let's just say Trump, whether or not he does no income tax, right? That would change the course of history. Who would ever vote Democrat again if he was to do that? Be like, whoa, we love this. I think everyone would love that. So they know that if they don't get their people to vote, they're going to lose it, right?
I hope so. From your lips to God's ears, let's go. I mean, I have this thing where I think that the government is too big regardless. Like as a libertarian, we're all like on the Trump team right now, but
even your boy Ron Paul tweeted the other day about no income tax. Like, that's making America great again.
We let's go step by step. Let's see what happens. But that would be amazing. I mean, and here libertarians have been talking about this. We've been talking about taxation as theft for 50 years. So welcome to being libertarian, America.
Trump, if you're
We
watching,
love
just
this.
come out and make it happen, man. I think what Luke was saying about no income tax, we pay tariffs. Let's make it happen. Let's change the course of history.
Think about how much we're going to buy in America versus
if he becomes president, and how much that would incentivize Americans to, of course, support local business and business, of course, from their own communities.
I like that.
rather than, of course, Chinese-made goods. So
Sorry, Timu.
Yeah, no, it would be something that would be absolutely revolutionary. As of course, I'm not even a fan of tariffs, but I'll take that if you get rid of the income tax any day. But I think
Hallelujah.
I think the economy is one of the major aspects of this election. Immigration is another one. As there's another story here from the Daily Mail describing how a small Midwestern town was just overwhelmed by 3,000 African migrants that are living tax-free in their town. This is a tiny town in Ohio that is now trying to deal with the sudden influx of African refugees who just arrived overnight. And, of course, we're talking about Lockland, Ohio. It's very close to Cincinnati. It was home to 3,500 people. Now it's
doubled.
It doubled overnight because of these Biden immigration policies, as a lot of people from Mauritania, of all places, a lot of people believe that's Atlantis as well.
Yeah.
Some people contest that, but we could get into that in a little bit. But a lot of people from Mauritania are finding their way into this small town, as I think it's fair to say that a lot of the older residents of that town probably will be voting for Donald Trump.
They had me at tax-free. How are they living tax-free? Asking for myself, really. I was going to say for a friend, but no. I, too, would love to live like they do, tax-free. Thank you.
I wonder what the crisis is over there for them to be asylum seekers.
Well, they're not really
It's
asylum
called-
seekers. Asylum seeker is a lie. It's a term that has been absolutely weaponized by these NGOs and government globalist organizations that use it as an excuse to do human trafficking. So there's no real kind of larger asylum play. They just use the system and abuse it by saying they're going for asylum, and that's what allows them to, of course, enter the United States.
Not all the time, though. I don't think that that's like always. I think that some people are legally fleeing dangerous situations. But I mean, I can agree with you, Luke, that just recently Libs of TikTok basically told us that there was an asylum seeker that was from Nicaragua that's here in Florida and did some pretty bad things to this woman, or almost did. But luckily,
7% of the population in Nicaragua is here.
Yeah,
was reading that
well,
earlier.
I mean, I think it's pretty crazy. If you watch that video, you see what could have happened to anybody. One of us girls.
To be fair, though, Nicaragua is actually a communist country, and people like last year, 7 of their presidential candidates were thrown in jail. So like they actually are legal asylum seekers. That one person might be a horrible human being, but nonetheless, people coming from Nicaragua are entitled to seek asylum. And to another issue with Nicaragua is it is the gateway for Cubans. Nicaragua opened the floodgates, and Cubans, millions of them fled to Cuba and are coming through the border through Nicaragua. So
Why not build a specific town in, let's say, Mexico or another country where you have people that want to come in and they prove themselves and they do live there, and then you can vet them that way.
Who's going to build that town?
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's a lot cheaper to house them there than it is here.
It's called New Mexico.
So why are we not doing? Why has no one ever
called
thought?
Texas.
Why has no one ever thought of this kind of stuff? Right?
We did.
Because I'd like the government to become smaller, not larger.
I would love that too, but that's just not happening right now, my dear.
Looks like we got some like TikTok videos from this Ohio town of these, individuals that have kind of gone into that specific city. But, you hear about these stories, and I think there's absolutely a lot more of them than we're actually hearing about, since you keep hearing about them in all these different towns and all these different places. And it definitely does seem like the Biden administration is trying to hide all of these new people that they're importing all throughout, especially in Miami. Miami also received an extreme amount of undocumented immigrants, but you can't tell because everyone already speaks Spanish here. And it's impossible to figure out who's who. Me and Robbie hit the streets this past Saturday, and we were interviewing people, and we were like, do you support Kamala or do you support Trump? The overwhelming answer we got was, "Get." No, I'm like, okay, all right, thank you.
There was a lot of tourists too, but
Yeah.
yes, I do got to brush up on my Spanish because when you're down in South Beach, that is the primary language.
So yeah, that's happening. As of course, I've been telling people to prepare for a very long time. I just released a video about how to prepare on lookundfiltered.com, a special secret, not so secret society where you get to join a lot of really cool, awesome people and be a part of the larger conversations that no one else really has. I go deep down the rabbit hole. I talk about my personal decisions. I talk about things that I do in my life that I am using information on in order to, of course, better it. And that's the information that I try to share with you in order to help promote, build, grow, and expand our human consciousness, wealth, prosperity, and liberty. Freedom is in your hands if you decide to act on it in the proper way. And I've built lookundfiltered.com 12 plus years of behind the scenes videos just on that basic model alone of trying to give you the tools, the information, the seed oil cards, the crap list of items you should be avoiding at the supermarket. That's all available for members of lookundfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Signing up is key, it's crucial, and it's more important than ever. Sign up right now, lookundfiltered.com. It's quick, it's easy, it's simple. You go here, and whatever your budget allows, I know times are hard, but for just $8, 20 cents a day, you could sign up right here, click it, and then you just put in a little bit of information. You get emailed back a login. You log in, and you get a lot of really awesome values that are a lot more valuable than Netflix. You have a choice. You want to do Netflix, or you want to do lookundfiltered.com. Make that choice. Vote with your dollars. Vote with your clicks. Start to decide your own life path right now. 3 master classes that will teach you some really incredible skills. Do you want to sit there and be glazed by the satanic, evil, corporatist, demonic propaganda that plays on your subconscious and emotional, psychological weaknesses? Or do you want to be uplifted and, of course, enlightened and given information that a lot of powerful people don't want you to have? That decision is yours, and it starts with you signing up to lookundfiltered.com. Sign up there right now, and I will see you there right after this broadcast. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you signing up to lookundfiltered.com. And because you do, this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.